Hello, everyone. This is Daniel Casey, and I'm a graphic designer, photographer, cinematographer, singer, songwriter, and a music composer. I'm here to do my presentation on education for sustainability, and the topics that I'll be covering today would be of recycling of paper waste and renewable resources. My target audience would be primary school students and secondary school students. So, my basic research did start with mind mapping, and it led me to several ideas that are out of which five are listed here. One being pottery, where teaching kids to do pottery at school and also make themselves a clay pot from which the kids could drink water from collectively or make their own pots for themselves, which would in return teach them about eco-friendly solutions. Planting trees, taking kids on a monthly trip to deforested areas or getting to plant a tree sapling in their own garden or schools and teaching them about deforestation and how harmful it is for our environment. Renewable resources, allowing students to create their own wind, solar, water, energy farms in miniature versions of it. Recycling of paper waste, instead of taking waste paper to the landfills, getting the students to make their own paper at school as an activity per month by all students for their sketchbooks or rough notes. Later on, it can be bound into a book and reused at schools. So, the fifth one would be save water. Take shorter showers, use the water from the kitchen, which are chemical free, for the school gardens. And out of the two ideas I really liked and wanted to use are the recycling of paper waste and renewable resources, since it's quite interactive and a fun and creative way to keep the kids engaged. And before I move on to that, I'd like to state two facts that most of you wouldn't be aware of. One is solar is now the biggest source of renewable energy in Australia. It overtook the wind in 2020. Iceland leads the world with near 100% energy produced from renewable sources, drawing from the abundant geothermal and hydro reserves that they have. So here I move on with the first concept, and that is recycling of paper waste. Recycling paper waste, reducing the amount of paper going to the landfills and reusing them for creating fresh papers at school. You could turn them into rough pages for kids to scribble or write their notes, turn the papers into art book or colored papers, or bind them into book and use it. All you'd require is a thicker thread to bind the books, an apron or extra set of clothes that the kids could bring weekly during the recycling of paper waste. Here is a short video that I shall skim forward just for you all to have a gist of what it exactly is. And unfortunately, I'm not able to skip the video, but this is how they would start and create DIY papers at home. You can do that for yourselves as well. So, moving on, the target audience that I would do for this one is primary and secondary school. Students from primary schools, they need to be accompanied by their teachers so that whenever they require any help, they could ask for, and also the same for the secondary schools student as well. A small statistics of Australia in 2022 for recycling. First would be metal, 87%, building materials, 81%, paper and cardboard, 62%, organics, 58%, and glass, 59%. Which is great because Australia is one of the top leading countries that rank in recycling of waste. The next, I'd like to add 2 points after the feedback that I've received from my design team. Students doing these activities as home activities and also educating their families about recycling of paper. The second point would be kept as a class session of 1 hour fortnightly, where individual classes get involved in different processes of paper making. And here I move on with concept 2, and right before I move on, again, a world fact for you all. Wind turbines have around 8,000 parts, and despite looking rather sleek and streamlined, modern wind turbines are actually quite complex and containing around 8,000 parts. I'm sure you didn't know that. So, renewable resources. There are various types of renewable resources, that is wind, solar, hydro, biothermal, nuclear, current, and waves. These all play a vital role in saving our planet if done right. The students are given a task to build their miniature solar wind energy models. target audience for this would be the primary and secondary schools. But for primary schools students, it needs to be they need to be first taught by teachers, and with the help of teachers they could do as a class activity, whereas it could be an individual project for the secondary school students assisted by the teachers in case of any help needed. The organizational policies for this would be the work health and safety measures that needs to be undertaken for hazardous equipments that the students would be using. And the final requirement of the brief that I think I did justice to was by bringing the client's brief and using the creative and practical ways to train children for their future and doing something better for themselves. And out of these two concepts, if I had to choose one of them, that would be recycling of paper waste, as this is a fun and creative activity that every individual kid would enjoy of primary and secondary schools, which can be even added as a 1 hour subject of recycling in the curriculum by the school. In return, they learn and also educate the ones that are unaware of this. A beautiful way of spreading news through word of mouth. That's the referencing I've done, and thank you very much. Hope you all enjoyed the presentation.